All right, guys, we're going to be reading Stick Dog again, and we are on chapter 4. So now we're on chapter 4. Remember, in chapter 3, it was talking about aroma. Remember, aroma is a type of smell. And we're talking about how in the summertime at the park, there are a lot of aromas from people grilling. And Stick Dog smelled an aroma. He said that it was a pleasant aroma. Do you remember what that was? Was it cheesecake? No. Was it hamburgers? Yes. So he smelled hamburgers. But then they got distracted by something in the forest. So chapter 4 is an acorn drops in the forest. So think about that setting of where they are and when it's happening. Then think about who the characters are, and think about the events of what's happening first. So what happens first in this chapter, what happens in the middle of this chapter, and what happens at the end of the chapter. So chapter 4, an acorn drops in the forest. With Stick Dog in the lead, all 5 dogs sprinted off in search of yummy hamburgers. 20 paws charging across the twigs, leaves, and sticks of the forest floor create a thunderous racket. Oh, wait a minute. 5 dogs, 20 paws? We have to do some math there, so think about that. If there are 5 dogs and each dog has 1, 2, 3, 4 paws, we say 5 times 4. So we count by 5s 4 times. So 5, 10, 15, 20. So he's right, 20 paws. Poo Poo saw a squirrel. Stop! Everybody stop! Yelled Poo Poo as he skidded to a halt. Bringing up dirt with him, Poo Poo. Karen, Stripes, and Mutt stopped quickly beside Poo Poo. What? They added. Up there, Poo Poo exclaimed, and lifted his nose up in the air to point. Squirrel in the oak tree. The 4 dogs gathered around the trunk of the tree. Stick Dog stood off to the side. The smell of those hamburgers was even stronger now. Hey, you guys, said Stick Dog, let's keep going and track down those hamburgers. I'm starting to get pretty hungry. Poo Poo snapped his head toward Stick Dog, looked at him in the eye. You must not have heard me, he said. There's a squirrel up there. He turned back to the tree. Stick Dog knew this delay would only make his hunger worse. He said, I heard you, Poo Poo, and I know how important squirrels are to you. I really do. It's just that they're more than just important to me, said Poo Poo. That's a gross under-exaggeration. Squirrels are my arch enemies. Ever since I was a puppy on the dairy farm, they've been torturing me. Squirrels. You grew up on a dairy farm, Poo Poo? Mud asked. And look, he said the squirrels taunting until the squirrels up in that tree saying, ha ha ha, ha ha. I think so. I remember there were cows everywhere, he answered, never once taking his eyes off his enemy, the squirrel, in the tree. And there were squirrels everywhere, too, with their sniffy little noses and their chattering sounds and those puffy tails. Ooh, I can't stand those puffy tails. Squirrels do have puffy tails and they wiggle around. Like they're all so great. Look at us. We have puffy tails. Aren't we special? Stick Dog came a step closer and glanced up into the oak tree. Poo Poo, I might not feel quite as strongly as you do about squirrels. They're evil! Poo Poo interrupted. Truly evil. Okay, they're evil, said Stick Dog. I just wonder why we have to worry about this particular squirrel and this particular tree at this particular time. We're on our way to find tasty hamburgers. With a good strategy and some good teamwork, we could be feasting on hamburgers in no time. Poo Poo was quiet and still. Stick Dog hoped he was absorbing the words and would decide to abandon the squirrel and continue on their mission. Did you see that? Poo Poo screamed. It just twitched its tail at me. Urgh! I can't stand it when they do that. That drives me crazy. Could you just forget about it this one time? Stick Dog asked. Poo Poo paused and considered. Well, maybe. And then the squirrel dropped an acorn on Poo Poo's head. Poo Poo jumped up, barking fiercely, ruff, and put his front paws as high as he could get them on the trunk of the tree. Why, you rotten little furry, no good, fuzzy tailed, nut eating, acorn dropping, sneaky tree climbing beast, he yelled. What happened? Asked Karen. You're not going to believe what that fuzzy gray trickster did to me, exclaimed Poo Poo. What? What did he do? Asked Mutt and Stripes. That puffy-tailed, nose-twitching, branch-jumping little scoundrel dropped an acorn on my head. He didn't, said Karen. I can't believe it. He did, Poo Poo answered, his eyes fixed on the top branches of that tree. This is the last time, said Poo Poo, now circling the tree and growling at the uppermost branches. I've had it with their twitchy tails and their oh so superior. Look at him. Circling around the tree, barking at that squirrel. Oh so superior tree jumping skills and fancy wire walking expertise. And I've really had it with their acorn dropping ways. It's time to set things right and restore the natural order of things. Dogs are better than squirrels. And today I'm totally going to prove it. How are you going to do that, Poo Poo? Asked Karen. I'm not sure, but I'm thinking I'll just wait here until that squirrel comes down, said Poo Poo. He stopped and brought a paw to his chin. But that might be a while. That nasty little gray fluffball probably has a stash of food up there somewhere. That would be just like a squirrel. So what are you going to do? Asked Mutt. I'll just have to find a way up. Now, I don't know if you know this or not, but dogs can't climb trees. And this presented a dilemma. Do you know what a dilemma is? It's when you have a choice among things to do, but none of the options is very good. Let's see. Let me think of an example. Okay, here's one. It's dinner time, and you have two vegetables to choose from. Overcooked green beans or steamed cauliflower. Cauliflower, brains. They look the same. Can't draw. And your mom says you have to pick one. You, my vegetable avoiding friend, are now faced with a dilemma. Actually, I don't mind cauliflower that much, except it kind of looks like brains. And let's face it, that's not something you would want to be thinking about when you're eating. I just ruined cauliflower for you, didn't I? Well, enjoy your overcooked green beans. So Poo Poo's dilemma was this. He could wait for that squirrel to come down, which could take forever. Or he could find a way up, which is pretty tough for a dog who can't climb trees. After a few laps around that tree, with his face contorted in deep thought, Poo Poo stopped and stood before his friends. Does anyone here have a huge rubber band? He asked. About 6 feet long and really, really stretchy. Stick Dog shook his head. So did Karen and Stripes. Fresh out, muttered Mutt. Why do you want one? Asked Karen. Well, with all the trees around here, I thought I could string a giant rubber band between a couple of trunks and create a slingshot. Then I could shoot my way up there just to get that whisker-twitching menace to society. So I thought I could get a rubber band, stretch it really far, and let go to fly forward. Oh, man. I don't know if that plan will work either, but here we go. So this was Poo Poo's plan. Get the rubber band between two trees, stretch it really far, and see if you could fly up the tree. Here we go. Mutt, Karen, and Stripes nodded in understanding. Stick Dog didn't say anything. How about a canyon? Anybody have a cannon? Oh, I said canyon. Cannon. Anybody have a cannon? Here's a cannon. Did you guys hear that train? I hope you don't hear it, but I can hear it. It's kind of loud. It's outside my window. Here we go. Back to this. Cool. So how about a cannon? Anybody have a cannon? Poo Poo asked. Same principle as the slingshot, just a little kind of shooting mechanism. Anybody? Stick Dog, Karen, and Stripes shook their heads again. Not with me, replied Mutt. Dang it, Poo Poo said. He began to tap his left forepaw against the ground in rapid taps. Tap, 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 tap. He was thinking hard, very hard. I got it, I got it! Somebody here has to have a trampoline, right? Any of you guys have a trampoline? Nate? Malcolm? Eli? Anybody have a trampoline at home? You know, those big contraptions with the springs around the outside and a big rubbery circle thing in the middle. I've seen humans jumping real high on those things. Do any of you have one of those? Anyone? Anyone? Stick Dog said he didn't. Stripes and Karen did the same. Mutt splayed his legs and shook his whole body as if he thought there was a chance a trampoline might fall out of his fur. He studied the ground beneath him and seemed disappointed to find that there was no trampoline. Not today, he answered. This is great, just great, Poo Poo moaned. Here I have this devious, conniving chatterbox practically within my grasp, and I can't finish the job. Finally, Stick Dog rose to his feet. He knew the squirrel was not particularly within Poo Poo's grasp at all, but he also knew that they had to get to the park as fast as possible if they wanted any chance at a hamburger feast. Every minute of delay meant their hunger would grow more severe. It also meant the hamburgers might be eaten before they even had a chance to grab them. Stick Dog knew he had to act. He came to the tree, stood shoulder to shoulder with Poo Poo, and whispered to him, I see what you mean now. That acorn dropping on your head made it all too clear. It's time to deal with this tail twitcher, a squirrel. Poo Poo, clearly surprised, turned his head and stared at Stick Dog. Poo Poo's right, Stick Dog shouted up in the general direction of the squirrel. He couldn't really see it, but that didn't really matter to him. I've had it with this sniveling, tail-shaking chattermouths like you. Mutt, Karen, and Stripes all stared at Stick Dog, too, curiosity and surprise on their faces. We can wait all week if we have to. No food, no water, no problem. Stick Dog was doing his best to look as tough as he could. He squinted his eyes and tried to snarl. It was not something he was very good at. Do you smell that hamburger aroma coming from the park, you fuzzy tail shaker? Do you? The squirrel was paying no attention. It was digging the nut out from an acorn shell. The dogs, however, had rediscovered the scent of hamburger. Their noses were lifted in the air. See how good that smells? Stick Dog continued shouting. Well, we don't care one bit. Those humans can cook 1,000,000 tasty hamburgers and eat them all. So what if we don't get any? Stick Dog? Mutt whispered. There was a look of concern on his face. If we have to wait until we're just skin and bones and grilling season is over and we never eat again, that's fine by us, Stick Dog continued. Stick Dog, could I have a word? Asked Karen. She appeared bothered as well. Stick Dog pretended not to hear her. He shouted, Hey, you up there! I want you to know that I agree 100% with Poo Poo. I'll gladly sacrifice a chance at delicious, juicy hamburgers. So what if we haven't had anything to eat since yesterday morning? So what if we never get another chance like this again? Excuse me, Stick Dog, said Stripes. But Stick Dog went on. I know that meaty, juicy, and smoky flavor will be the best we ever tasted, and it would be so nice to have with warm food for a change. We almost always find cold food. We never get warm food like hamburgers from the grill. But it doesn't matter. We're not going anywhere. Stick Dog, Poo Poo tried to interrupt. The Stick Dog kept going. Just to show you how committed I am, I'm going to take a big sniff of the air and not leave. Are you watching? Stick Dog took a huge sniff of the air. And as he suspected they would, the other dogs did too. So now the other dogs were smelling the air. The wind was drifting in the perfect direction, blowing the mouth-watering hamburger-scented breeze right to them. He heard the slow, deep rumble of the other dogs' stomachs. From the corner of his eye, he saw Poo Poo close his eyes and lick his lips. Doesn't that smell extra delicious, Mr. Twitchy Pants? Stick Dog called to the squirrels. I can almost taste them. We don't care, though. We're not leaving. No way. We're staying here, Squirrel. Hey, Stick Dog. See how the dog's still smelling the air? Smelling those hamburgers in the air? Yes, Poo Poo, Stick Dog answered, not lowering his head. I'm thinking, Poo Poo said, that maybe we should just go get those hamburgers and worry about proving our superiority to squirrels later. Are you sure? Stick Dog, Poo Poo declared, I've never been so sure of anything in my life. Stick Dog lowered his head and stretched his legs, preparing for the rest of the journey to Picasso Park. If you're sure that's what you want to do, Poo Poo. Poo Poo nodded quickly and wagged his tail. What are you waiting for? Let's go. Without even looking up, Poo Poo ran right past the oak tree and the squirrel that was in it. Stick Dog smiled. To the park, he said, to Mutt, Stripes, and Karen. And off they ran. Okay, that's the end of that chapter. Oh my gosh, so that's what happened. An acorn drops in the forest. It was a squirrel dropping an acorn on Poo Poo's head. She didn't want to leave. She wanted to prove that squirrel that she was better than him. So, Stick Dog was pretty smart and clever, and he came up with an idea to make all the dogs decide to go back after those hamburgers. I liked that chapter. Okay, guys. The next chapter we'll read next week will be A Warrior Human Attacks. Okay, hope you enjoyed chapter 4.